Yo, what's up guys, back with another video, and today I'm going to be telling y'all my score predictions for these quarterfinals of the playoffs. Let's get it. So for this one, it's more of a which defense do I trust more type of game, and which offense do I trust more not to turn it over. Yeah, I know Texas Tech doesn't have a great offense, but if you look at the stats, their quarterback only has 4 interceptions on the season. And what's his name? Dante Moore has 8 interceptions on the season. And I would say Texas Tech and Oregon play around the same kind of competition. Texas Tech may have even played better competition. I don't know. I'm going to just call it even for right now. And, I mean, Dante Moore has double the picks of Baron Morton, isn't that his name? So, I mean, that's what I'm going with. Which quarterback do I trust more to, have more ball security? Which defense do I trust more to get those key stops? I just have to go with Texas Tech. Jacob Rodriguez, I feel like he's going to make some plays, get some clutch tackles on these third downs. They're going to try to run it up the middle on them. Third and maybe 2, third and short. They're going to try to run it up the middle on this front 7 for Texas Tech, and I just don't think it's going to work. I don't think it's going to fly around Texas Tech. So give me Texas Tech 27-20. Dante Moore throws a pick or 2, and just a very defensive game. Now, I am on edge about this prediction. I really wanted to go with Indiana, but there's just, Alabama, they have it in their DNA. They have championship DNA. Indiana doesn't. Indiana, I feel like, this is a realistic score for an Alabama game this season. Just go and look. 27-24, they did that to Missouri. 24-21, they did that to Georgia. It's just like, it's been in their DNA all season. 29-22, South Carolina. It's just like 27-20, Auburn. This is an Alabama type of win. 27-24 just screams Alabama all over it. I don't know. Indiana, they haven't been battle tested. I know Ohio State, they're number 2. They beat Ohio State 13-10, but is Ohio State even that good? I don't know. We're going to see against Miami how good they really are. I've already said that I see cracks in that run defense for Ohio State. They can't run against a good front 7. Julian saying he didn't do anything against Texas. He did a little bit against Indiana. I'm not going to say he didn't do anything, but he still threw a pick. And, hey, who knows? That could have been the difference in the game. That one pick, they won by 3 points. But I'm not going to say that's on him because the kicker missed a chip shot field goal he should have made. So it was just a very defensive game. Mistakes, just everything. You could look back at a lot of things. But yeah, I feel like Alabama, it depends on how they play. Do they play like they did against Oklahoma just this past game? Not the first game. That's terrible. Or do they play like they did against Florida State, South Carolina, Auburn, Georgia SEC Championship, Oklahoma the first time? It's hard to tell. You don't know. You've gotten a few different Alabamas this season. Or no, you've really gotten 2 different Alabamas this season. It's either Alabama that wins by a defensive clutch or Alabama who has a good defense and a good offense, and they look like the number 1 team in the country. Don't know which one we're going to get. I hope we don't get Florida State, Alabama, because if we do, this game will be cooked, and they might just get 40 on them. But I really don't think a Florida State game will happen again late in the season like this. That was week 1. That hasn't happened since. I don't know. I think they beat Florida State now by 30, even if they looked as bad as they did in the Georgia game. So, yeah. Now, I have told multiple Georgia fans when they say Ole Miss is a free win, free playoff win, they're going to the semifinals, just overlooking the game. I've told them, have y'all forgotten that Ole Miss had a 2-possession lead against y'all at y'all stadium and y'all came back in the fourth quarter from a 2-possession game. I've told them this, and they're like, they just think it's a free win. Hardest thing to do is beat the same team twice in one season. But here's the thing. This is not the same team. And maybe it's the same roster, same players, same starters, same backups. But this is not the same team because the team revolves around the coach. Well, if it's a good coach, at least. I mean, you saw UCLA. They probably would have went 0-12 if they kept whoever was. I can't even remember. If they never fired that coach, they probably would have went 0-12. But no, they went 3-9, upset 3 teams. It really revolves around it. And Lane Kiffin, I think, is a top 5 coach this season at least. If he didn't go to LSU and, he just kind of said he's, free, he wants to go somewhere else, he would most likely be the number 1 coach out there right now. And then James Franklin would be somewhere around there when he was fired. He was, I think that he was probably one of the top 10 coaches. Well, at the time, a coach that was just, hanging around, not actually in a job, I think that he was probably the number 2 coach out there. But yeah, I just don't know. I don't think Ole Miss can pull this off. 38-24 sounds really realistic for Georgia. Their defense has improved massively since, the beginning and middle of the season. It's improved. They held a very good Georgia Tech offense to 9 points. I know they got held to 16 by a very, very bad Georgia Tech defense, but they got held to 28 to APSU, Arkansas Pine. I can't even remember, bro. It was an FCS school, but you saw what happened then. They went on to score 43 against Ole Miss later. I just don't think Ole Miss will pull it off. That's my final take. Now, Miami, if they had any other quarterback in college football, I would most likely give Miami a very close loss or a win. But they have Carson Beck. That's all you need to know. Carson Beck cannot be trusted to win a big game or to clutch up. If you need Carson Beck to clutch up, I'd put in the backup before I let Carson Beck clutch up for me. If I am down, like in the overtime game against SMU when they lost, 26-20? Or was that overtime? I think it was. Or one of these games was an overtime game. They lost. He threw another pick. By the way, he had 2 in that game. Lost that game for him. He had 4 versus Louisville. Lost that game for him. I'm surprised they kept it that close of a game. Wasn't it 24-21? I don't know how they kept it that close with Carson Beck throwing 4 interceptions. That just tells you how bad Louisville is. But yeah, Miami, everything is good on their team. Their defense is most definitely a top 5 defense, at least top 10, top 10 defense. Offense, yeah, sometimes it can be, but you also have to think, when does it look like a top defense? A top offense, when they're playing nobody schools from the sorry and sucky ACC. Yeah, they did pretty well against Notre Dame, but Notre Dame didn't even make the playoffs, so I don't know why you should say anything about that. Notre Dame didn't make the playoffs. They don't play anyone. They had 2 losses. Lost to Texas A&M. Couldn't stop Texas A&M, who has Marcel Reed, who throws 2 interceptions on average a game. So I don't even want to hear anything about that. And it was the first game of the season, so I don't care. I don't trust Carson Beck. He's going to have at least 2 picks in this game. He's going to throw one to Caleb Downs, throw one to Sonny Styles, all them big-time players. Now, I do think Ohio State is very overrated, but I just think Carson Beck is dog water. He is washed. He hasn't looked like the same Carson Beck since 2023. I don't know what happened to him, but it's just not the same. So give me Ohio State 31-14.